All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Samuel S., thank you so much for the super chat, my man. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for modding for me. Really do appreciate the super chat, man. Crypto Water 5813, much love to you, man. Good afternoon to you, and good evening. Thank you for smashing the like button on your way in. Thank you for modding for me, and thank you for being here. Yeah, guys, please do hit the like button. If you do get any sort of insight into the market from this live stream, hit the like button for me. Please subscribe, share the video, all that good stuff. Eric, much love to you, man. Good to see you. TXRX, hello to you, and thank you for being here. My dog's breakfast. Yeah, music, royalty-free music, so there's not too much you can do, with the royalty-free music, but I thought it was some of the better royalty-free music, and I think it's an okay introduction. But thank you, man. Thank you for being here. Sudeep, much love to you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for modding. Ryan Henson, good afternoon to you. Kip Corn Sheriff, can we dump again, please? I think we're due soon. Let me say for a pullback, maybe not a dump. But yes, I'll go through that in just a second. Heat down here is crazy. Ooh, man, yeah, we've been having a heat wave across the country and even in Europe and places like that. So it's been hot. All right, guys. So pretty much we've been waiting for the $57,900 level to be hit for quite some time. We front ran it at 58K. We saw a bit of a rise over the weekend, come down throughout the week. We finally did swing fail pattern that $58,000 low into our naked monthly point of control. Now, we've been watching that naked monthly point of control for quite some time. You can see I had the alert there. We were planning on taking, actually, I shouldn't say we, I was planning on taking the long. I let you guys know about that. I showed you all week, throughout the week leading up to that support being hit, that we had high time frame bull divs on the daily time frame. We had 8-hour bull divs. We had 4-hour bull divs. We had 1-hour bull divs. We had the confirmation to enter a trade if we did see a swing failure pattern, a hit of that naked monthly and a rise above. So I ended up on Tuesday longing, that was Tuesday evening for me, longing around $58,200. I waited for a 5-minute candle close. We pushed up pretty aggressively. And then the next day, though, I said, after we broke market structure bullishly. So I told you guys market structure is king. And the key thing we want to watch for within this small range, that we were developing, was for a market structure break, a bullish market structure break. So really the level we wanted to break was this high from Tuesday. And the second we broke that high, I posted in the Telegram, okay, guys, now we have had a bullish market structure break, an official bullish market structure break. Because of that, now we can look for a 3-wave corrective move, a retracement down towards that golden pocket to add to a long or to enter a new long position. Essentially, that golden pocket was at my entry, $57,000 or $58,200. You can see if we pull that golden pocket, pretty much 58.2, 58.3. So I did add to the position quite a bit from here. And I told you guys that I was looking for a swing long position or at least a decent correction, reversal to the upside to occur. Now, another thing that I looked at, and I let you guys know throughout all of yesterday in the Telegram in real time, is we can pay attention to our small range that had been developing. So we had been in this range. And you can see as we were coming up into that range, I said there's 2 key targets to watch for. If this is going to be another 3-wave corrective move, then we have to watch for a rejection from the POC to come to make new lows, or a rejection from the value area high to make new lows. And the reason for that was not only are they volume resistance levels within our micro range that we had been in, but if you take your trend-based Fibonacci extinction target from the lows of A or 1 to the highs of A or 1 to the lows of 2, and let me fix that, and you put on those correction targets, you can see that the 1-to-1 was in pretty much perfect confluence with our POC, and the 1.236 was in perfect confluence with our value area high. So yesterday, we really didn't want to see rejections at either of those levels, because if we saw rejections and a break of market structure, then we would most definitely be coming down probably to take out these lows. And I told you guys in the Telegram, if we lose the value area low, I'm pretty much going to close out my trade, my long trade. We came up and we did see a little bit of resistance at the POC, and I said, let's see if this is just a small pullback and then we break through it, or if we hit the value area low, I'm closing the trade. We just saw that small pullback and we broke through it. And we broke up to the value area high, which was the other target for our correction at that 1.236, which is another common target for an ABC correction. Once we started to pull back here, I let you guys know, hey, what we want to see now is a flip of that POC to support. And if that POC can hold as support, then I think we are going to work our way up to the 1.618, which is a common third wave target. Therefore, that would make this more likely to be an impulse rather than a corrective move from $57,000, $57,700. It would more likely make it be an impulse. So after flipping the POC, you can see we were able to break up through the value area high, and we were able to impulse up to that 1.618. Now, I told you guys that we have some really good confluence for a pullback at that 1.618 because it was also our micro range highs of this range since the past few weeks or week here, since Thursday, June 25th. We SFP'd that range high right into the 1.618 and even surpassed the 1.618 a little bit, but then we started to pull back. Now, this is when I was making my video yesterday. This was yesterday evening, right around market close. We were coming down to backtest the POC, to backtest the VWAP close, and to backtest that internal liquidity that we had there. So I tried to put out the video as quick as I could for you guys, but I said essentially this green box with this low here, and then the POC. And then if you pull a Fibonacci retracement from the lows of wave 3 to the highs of wave 3, your wave 4 targets are going to be really in that zone, right? You can see that's where the bottom of the box is at the 0.5 Fibonacci. And I said, okay, I want to see us maybe grab both of these lows together. If we hit the golden pocket, that's going to be a bad thing, but we did not hit the golden pocket, and then we were able to reclaim. So I took some profit up here at the 1.618. I took a second profit on my long position, and then I told you guys here in the video yesterday, and I posted about it right after in the Telegram as well, that if we reclaim the POC after taking this internal liquidity, if we reclaim the POC, I will add to the long position. So I did. I added to the long position. Whatever I took out here, I added back down here. And now so what we're looking at essentially is a 5-wave impulse to the upside. And if I grab our impulsive structure, a wave 1 here, we had our 3-wave corrective move to the golden pocket in a wave 2, which is very common for a wave 2. Our wave 3 came up to the 1.618 trend-based Fibonacci extinction, which is very common. We grabbed some very key liquidity. I showed you guys that in yesterday's heat map. We came down to around the 0.5 Fibonacci for our wave 4, and currently we are in our wave 5 to the upside, our 5th and final wave of the impulse to the upside. Now, within your 5th wave, you still want to see a subcount of a 5-wave move. You still want to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to make 5 waves up within that impulse. Well, you can see very clearly this first push up looks impulsive here. And then if we pull a golden pocket from the lows to the highs, you can see we bounce right at the golden pocket, which is common for a wave 2 retracement. Bounced at that golden pocket, and then we had our big aggressive move up here, a little bit more aggressive. Now, if we pull our trend-based Fibonacci extinction, we didn't quite make it. Let's see here. If I grab that, go to the 1.618. We didn't quite make it to the 1.618, but it is still longer than your first wave. If we look at our targets here, you can see it surpassed the 1.236. So this here being our subcount of a 3rd wave within the larger 5th wave, we just now saw throughout this morning, and by the way, that 3rd wave, I told you guys to watch out for the SFP of 61.9 because our anchored VWAP was there, and I was going to take some more profit at $61,900 if and only if we SFP. Well, if we look on the 1-hour time frame, we got that really nice clean SFP of the range highs, or of some highs, some internal highs into our anchored VWAP, and then we got a pullback throughout this morning. Now, if we look at this pullback, I let you guys know that I'm looking between now for a wave 4 pullback before seeing one more high to the upside. And if we look at this pullback, look at this, a very clean 3-wave corrective move. Oftentimes in these clean pullbacks in wave fours, what you'll see is you'll see your initial drop to the 0.382. You see a small bounce, and then you come down to the 0.5 to end the corrective move. So you hit both of the targets, and then you want to see now another new high being made above the highs at $62,146. So that is what I'm looking for to complete the fifth and final wave to the upside. I want to see that one more high being made. Now, after that high is made, we can say that the impulse from the lows is over with. It's done with. And that means that we might see a bigger retracement or a bigger pullback to the downside. So in that scenario, we don't know where it's going to end yet. We don't know if it's going to end just by taking out the local highs or if it's going to come all the way up to $63,500. But we can kind of speculate, or we don't know if it's going to end around this internal high here at $63,200 or 150. We don't know, but we can speculate going from the lows, and I can put it on just some random area. I'll put it around that SFP of this high in here. You can see that after an impulse finishes, you're going to be looking. So this would be, all of this impulse would be a wave one of a much higher time frame impulse. Then we could look for a three-wave corrective move, maybe over the weekend, over the holiday weekend, a three-wave corrective move down towards your golden pocket before seeing an explosive wave three to the upside. And then we could see a 4 and then a 5 and potentially come take out our $67,000 highs. We would still be overall in this macro range here, not macro, medium time frame range that's been for all of June. It's about a month long now. We've been in a sideways range for about a month now. But let's look at this. Let's look at our lower range that we've been in for about a week. We have broken out of the value area high. We have now, in some ways, flipped that value area high to support and are continuing higher. So that is a good sign for the bulls that we were able to break out of this micro range. Now, if we look at our month-long range, let me go ahead and turn that on. If we look at our month-long range, you can see that we are coming up. We flipped the value area low to support yesterday. So in flipping that value area low to support yesterday, there is a high probability of working your way up to the point of control. Well, you can see the point of control of the range is also where we have that fresh naked monthly point of control. Another thing we can look at is, let me go ahead and get rid of these now, and I can get rid of this little one here. We can actually get rid of this green box. That played out. That was yesterday's adding to the long position. And if we look at pulling a Fibonacci, let me just zoom out so I can get a cleaner look at this. From the highs at 67,300 to our lows, you can see that our golden pocket is going to be coming in. Golden pocket value area high. It's right around. It's actually a big zone, guys. The zone would really be this whole zone here from like 63.5 to like 64.4, 64.3. That's more of our zone. We have a golden pocket. We have a fresh daily level in there. If we turn on our daily levels, you can see we have a fresh daily level at $63,500. That's also pretty much right on top of your your 0.618 Fibonacci retracement, your golden pocket. So this zone is the next big zone to be looking for a potential pullback on Bitcoin. But we now have clearly broken market structure bullishly by taking out some lower highs in this range and by taking out the high at $61,800, which, by the way, guys, remember that $61,800 high was a weekend high. Sorry, I'm confusing it. This was the weekend high. It was still an important market structure break, right? We came up, we broke above it, we broke that market structure bullishly. So we're continuing in a bullish market structure move to the upside. But we still now need to pay attention to this bigger range, this month-long range, because this is our bottoming range. First off, I said to you guys that I did want to see a bit of a larger time frame accumulation occur down here. So like a tap 1, a tap 2, and then remember, in here, I also said I want to see a small accumulation, a tap 1, a tap 2. After this impulse finishes, which we need one more local high, we could get that pullback to the golden pocket around $59,000. This could be a smaller time frame accumulation that breaks us up potentially all the way up to 67, where then we see now another retrace, and then we have some time go by in order to see that bigger accumulation occur. This is kind of the area where I would expect it, because if we break the pitchforks to the downside, we have two key pitchforks we've been looking at. We've been looking at the bearish pitchfork from the important all-time highs in 2025, right? The very first all-time high down to your 74K lows up to your current all-time high. We're consolidating at the bottom of the pitchfork with some bull divs on the chart. That is a good sign for a bigger reversal to the upside. And then if we look at our multi-cycle pitchfork on Binance, you can see that we're at the bottom of our multi-cycle pitchfork. We finally saw a little bit of wickage down below it to hit that naked monthly point of control, but we are reclaiming, and this is something important that I want to show you guys. So let me clean this up just a little bit. If we look at, let's zoom into the 1 hour chart. As far as our multi-cycle pitchfork goes, all throughout last week, we were seeing wicks below it, but we were not seeing, let me go to the 4 hour, because 4 hour, you can see wick below, wick below, wick below, wick below, wick below, wick below, but no candle body closes below. Last Thursday or Monday and Tuesday was the first time we started seeing candle bodies close below it. And if we go to the daily time frame, that was the first daily time frame candle body closed below. So because we closed below, I was expecting to take out the $58,000 lows and at least hit your naked monthly. It would also give us that 5-wave move to the downside from 67K. A wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then a wave 5, finishing this impulse to the downside. Now, once an impulse finishes to the downside, you will often get a corrective move at least up to the golden pocket, which is right around that $63,500 to $64,000. So that's going to be an important little resistance for us. But you can see here, after seeing a little bit of a micro range below the pitchfork, which it does look like that inverse head and shoulders are a very, very low time frame accumulation. Tap 1 or left shoulder, tap 2 right shoulder or head, tap 3 right shoulder, and then you get the expansion to the upside. Now, we were able to get back inside of that big pitchfork, flip it to support yesterday after taking local liquidity of the range highs. We were able to come down and hold it as support. Look at this, guys. A perfect touch, a perfect back test, and a perfect hold of support. As soon as that holds, you expect to take out your local high, which we did. And now we are just working on kind of seeing maybe this corrective move in here before making another local high. But I would suspect that we are due to make another local high, and the next local high that we make could give us a bit larger of a pullback to the downside. If we're looking at the volume profile, so let me go ahead and there's a couple things we need to look for. So obviously we're still in the last month of price action, this lower range at the bottom of both of our pitchforks. This is very, very important price action here. This range is still, we could still say we're inside of this range, but we're above the value area high, so that's a bullish sign. But we want to pay attention now to this bigger range since we're breaking back inside of it. If we throw that volume profile on the chart, you can see we're back inside the volume profile. So there's a very high chance of coming up to that POC. But we have some resistances above us that we need to pay attention to because they are there. And until we confirm, we could just, after seeing this 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, after seeing a 5-wave dump from 67.3, we could just come up in a impulse, correction, impulse up to the golden pocket, and then see dumpage continue. We really need to start breaking above the value area high of our month-long range, and we really need to start breaking above, really flipping the higher time frame market structure bullishly now. So really taking out 65.6 and then really set 67.3. Let's go ahead and look at some important levels within there. So I'll go back to the Coinbase chart. Obviously, this zone of resistance in here, naked monthly point of control, your range point of control, your golden pocket, you have a daily level in there, and you have your value area high in there. Now, if we look at that larger range, let's zoom out onto the daily time frame. We've been in a range from $60,000. This is kind of our larger range that we've been in now for 4 months, 4 or 5 months, right? Ever since February, we've been in that range. And if we pull that 4-month long range volume profile, you can see that the value area low of that range is going to be coming in right around $65,000. Let me go ahead and delete this. You can see at $65,000, the bottom of that range is coming in. So it is an important resistance because it is a resistance before this bullish break in market structure. Let me zoom back into the 4-hour chart. Before this break in market structure, it is an important resistance. But also, if we take our Fibonacci retracement from the lows of the impulse that started at 67.3, excuse me, from the highs of the impulse that started at 67.3 to the lows that we got at 57.7, you can see where our golden pocket's in that box. But also, if we put on our 786 Fibonacci, which is another common target for a wave 2 to retrace, or a lower high, right? If this is all an impulse, getting a 3-wave corrective move up to that 786 is another possibility. And the 786 Fibonacci is in perfect confluence with the bearish backtest of our 4-month long range. So if we come up to 65.2 and reject, unfortunately, and if it's a 3-wave move, which you, in a 3-wave move, you're looking for an ABC, you're looking for an impulse in your A wave, you're looking for a corrective move in your B wave, and then you're looking for another impulse in your C wave. So you want to see impulse, correction, impulse. If we see that occur over the next week or so, and we start to reject on the bearish backtest of your value area low of your 4-month long range, it's also your 786, and you can see it's also the backtest of the pitchfork. After we finally hit the bottom of the pitchfork, we're seeing a nice bounce. So the way pitchfork trading works is if our pitchfork support holds a couple times, you often will get a move up to retest that lower band of the pitchfork. So it is going to be crucial. The 2 levels that are crucial, the 2 ranges, is this zone of the purple box, and then the next zone is going to be this very crucial 65.2. And I would even say, because remember, in sideways ranges, liquidity and volume are the most important things. We do have some liquidity that's resting at 65.5. So our next big zone of resistance above our purple box that I already have on the chart is going to be this purple box right in here between 65.2 and 65.5, grabbing liquidity, hitting the pitchfork band, and the value area low of your 4-month long range. Now, depending on what happens here, I generally, if we're going to see a larger time frame bullish scenario play out, like this is going to be a bottom in here, we want to see 1, 2, and then this needs to push. We need to push above the POC at 66.8. We would very likely not want to see an SFP here, or maybe just a small SFP, something like a small SFP come in, and then that would all be part of a third wave, right? That would all be part of a bigger third wave. So we do have the high time frame bullish divergences to confirm that we might get a bigger push to the upside, a bigger reversal to the upside, where we could even go test the 70s again, guys. We could even come up to the pitchfork midline and test that value area high of our 4-month long range. And at the time, by the time we get there, because it's going to take some time to move up there, if we do something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get a bit of a pullback, and then another move up, by the time we get up there, you can see your value area high is going to be right where your pitchfork midline is. So once again, on Bitcoin, we have very nice lower time frame confluences of resistance, and we have very nice higher time frame confluences of resistance, where we even have an anchored VWAP that would probably be coming right into that zone as well at $78,000. And then, of course, we can just, that's starting to speculate a little bit far into the future. But what we want to see generally from this area is, remember, we want to see that impulse to the upside. Right now, we're in midst of a low time frame impulse here, but we want to see a larger impulse that takes weeks to play out, like a daily, you know, and we want to break some market structure bullishly. We want to start breaking some of these lower high pivots, which we already are starting to on low time frames. But remember, in terms of accumulation, even if this, whether this is an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, impulse. If this is an ABC or an impulse, we're still looking for this little accumulation in this zone. We're still looking for a little bit of an accumulation in this zone. So we want to see that tap 1 or your left shoulder. We want to see that tap 2 or your head, which we have playing out. And after this impulse finishes, whether this is a wave 1 or a wave A, you're expecting a pullback towards your golden pocket. That would be your tap 3 or your left shoulder. And that's your inverse head and shoulders. And then hopefully for the bulls, you explode to the upside. For the bears, you're going to want to see rejections at either one of these purple boxes, or even maybe an SFP of the 67.2K highs. And once again, guys, I laid this out a little bit in yesterday's video, but there's such nice confluence on Bitcoin right now because you can see the SFP of this high is at the lower limit of the pitchfork band. It's at your 786 and it's at your value area low bearish back test. But if we look at the 67.3K highs, you can see by the time we get up there, it's going to be right around the upper limit of the pitchfork band, and your POC is going to be relatively close by as well of your 4-month long range. So, I mean, gosh, Bitcoin, guys, it trades so technically. It's so beautiful. And if you know what to look for, it's amazing to trade, and right now we have some opportunity. I've been telling you guys all last week, I was really starting to get interested in swing long opportunities, even if that swing long only brings us up to 67.2, or if it maybe brings us up to 78K before we end up dumping harshly to the downside and coming lower. But I am looking now at this. The main thing to pay attention for us right now is still this bottoming range of the past month. You can see the range is developing between your pitchfork band and the bottom of the pitchfork, which is very, very common. We saw this earlier in the year on Solana. We saw this earlier in the year on Ethereum. Now, unfortunately, earlier in the year, this range ended up breaking harshly to the downside, and that is still a possibility with Bitcoin. We are not out of the woods yet. The bulls have not really come in force yet. So we still have a very bearish scenario that could play out here. But as far as the bullish divergences that we're seeing, let's zoom out to the weekly chart. Now, if our weekly candle closes green and maybe even as a bullish engulfing candle, if we can get up by the end of the week above, 63, let's just say 63.1, 63.2, then we could see confirmations on weekly time frame bull divs. You can see from our $58,000 lows, or that's our $60,000 lows, to our brand new lows that we made yesterday. We could have some weekly bull divs, and if the weekly candle closes green, this is going to start to roll up here, and it would confirm weekly bullish divergences on the chart. Now, unfortunately, NAMI does not have the weekly bull divs. You can see here, this momentum wave is deeper than the predecessor before it, and then even regionally, we wouldn't have them. It's more of a double bottom there. So it's not the perfect signal I like to see on the weekly time frame. But I showed you guys in yesterday's video on the daily time frame, we got that ultimate setup that I look for between Market Cipher and NAMI. These are the tools that I use for confirmation. So what I like to see on confirmation on these tools is I like to see Market Cipher having confirmed confirmed bull divs on the momentum waves and the money flow bottoming out and starting to curve to the upside. So do we see that? Yes, check. We have lower lows in the price action, higher lows in the momentum waves, and the money flow starting to curve to the upside. Okay, now what I look for on NAMI, and this is where when both of these together work out, it's a very high probability trade for me. It's a very high probability setup that the trade is going to play out. What I like to see is local bull divs on the daily time frame on NAMI, which do we see between 59,000 and our new lows that we made yesterday at 57.7? Yes, we do. We actually see 3 drives of it. 1, 2, 3 drives of it. And then we want to see between 60,000 and our new lows, we want to see regional bull divs on the daily time frame. Do we see that? Yes, we do. And then the last thing I look for is, because NAMI's much quicker, I look at the money flow. Do we have money flow bullish divergences on that on top of those momentum divergences? And it's a yes, we do. So we have the 5 check marks I need for that overall super prime high probability setup to see a bit of a reversal here. And that is why, guys, I am really excited about a potential pump to the upside to come up to 64K or even to come up above and to 67.3K in the next coming weeks here. We could see that vicious move to the upside, a nice semi-reversal to the upside. Now, even so, guys, let's think in terms of the larger bear market. We know that as far as timing wise, we're not due till October, right? But as far as price wise, we have been 50% off our all-time highs. I know that's a little bit less than most bear markets, but what we want to see is accumulation. So once again, you want to see that tap 1 in here, a tap 2 all in here, which means we could do something like this and then explode up. And then we take the 67.3K highs right into the pitchfork band, and then you see another retrace towards the bottom. And then we would see that tap 3 in here. Now, that would give you you would still be in this range between 67 or like, let's just say 68K and 58K. You would still be in this range for quite some time, but we would be trading these smaller moves within this range. Now, in terms of the larger weekly time frame with Bitcoin, with the bear market, we could be in a tap 1 at 60,000. All of this move over the next 2 months could be a larger tap 2. And then is what often occurs with Bitcoin at the ends of bear markets is you see a model 1 accumulation where, let's say that after this happens, you break out, you see that expansion to the upside, you come up to 76 or 78K, and then you get the big pullback to make one more new bear market low, and you form a larger sideways and down range to end the bear market, which you're coming down into now. Look at where this is at October, November, in here around 54, around 56. Remember, $56,000 is the value area low of the 2-year long range. So this is some of the possibilities that I'm keeping in mind over the next few months. And could this all be invalidated next week if we just dump to the downside? Yes, it could be. But we do see the confirmations technically on the chart for a bit of a bullish move to the upside. And that is going to be what I'm playing. So now what we need to pay attention to is the range, this range here between 68 and 58. We want to pay attention to this range. We want to start to break market structure. And really, even if we're kind of being a little bit more pessimistic, we still really aren't out of the woods of this small range yet. We SFP'd the highs of that range today, but we really want to start to see some daily candles above the highs of that range. The first order of business for the bulls is to close our daily candle above the value area high of that range. So let's go zoom in on the 2-hour chart. We can pull that range. That's this little that's this little itty bitty right in here. We can pull the value area high of that small range. And we want to close above the value area high, which is going to be coming in at $60,500. Or you can even go from the lows here. It's pretty much the same thing. $60,500, $60,000. Yeah, $60,500. We want to close our daily candle today above $60,500. Now, it would be even more bullish if we can close above 61.9. If we close above 61.9, there's very high probability we work our way up to the green box or the purple box of resistance above us. Guys, please do hit the like button if you get any sort of insight into the market from this live stream. If you're enjoying the technical analysis, please do hit the like button. We can see that right now we are starting to see some confirmations for a pullback, for this impulse to end in here, and for a bit of a pullback over the weekend. We are starting to see some bear divs on the 1 hour on NAMI. If we go, or 2 hour, excuse me, on NAMI. And then if we go to the 4 hour chart, you can see we also have confirmed 4 hour bear divs on NAMI as well. Now, market ciphers, a lot slower, so we're not going to see those bear divs confirming yet. If we go in onto the 1 hour chart, on the 1 hour chart, we have potentially bear divs going to be forming, but we need to make that local high. Guys, one more local high is due, in my opinion. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Yeah, if one more local high comes, let's say we do something like this and see some sort of flat in here for a wave 4, you would confirm some bear divs on the chart. Yes, that is kind of what I'm looking at here, guys. So let me check the chat. I know I just went on and on for quite a bit there. I hope that wasn't too much, but thank you guys all for joining. I appreciate y'all for being here. Let's see. A nice pullback would be great. Yeah, let's see. My dog's breakfast, welcome in. And let's see if we get that. Right now, earlier today, we did bounce from the VWAP. And remember, that is also your wave 4 target just from this low. Because we're looking at, and if you weren't here for the beginning of the live stream, we're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of this, what we've seen today, is part of a 5. But within your 5th wave, you still need a sub count of 5 waves. So we need to look at, from this low, do we see 5 waves? 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need one more high to finish this entire structure to the upside. One more local high. Now, could we, this was a pretty aggressive pullback here. If you zoom in on the lower time frames, it actually does look like a clean 3-wave corrective move. Look at on the 15-minute, boom, boom, boom. Very clean 3-wave corrective move. But could we be seeing a more complex correction in here that lasts a little bit longer, where we get some sort of 3-wave move down, some sort of 3-wave move up, and then another 3-wave move down, and make some sort of a WXY flat correction in here? Yes, so I'm saying that this range near the highs could extend for a little bit longer throughout the day. It doesn't have to end now. Now, if it is just this 3-wave corrective move was done, we're looking for a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, 5. We want to see a break. We want to see our local golden pocket hold. So let's pull a Fibonacci, and we might even be able to get a scalp long off of this, guys. We'll pull our Fibonacci from the lows from earlier to the highs that we just made a couple hours ago, put our golden pocket on the chart, and as we're coming into this zone, and remember, it's a zone between golden pocket 786. So as we're coming into this zone right here during the live stream, if we have low time frame bull divs, we could enter a scalp long position just to take out the highs and potentially leave some open for higher, right? We can also pull a volume profile of this kind of sideways price action. All right, we're at the value area low right now. And then once again, guys, you want to see this kind of lower time frame 3-wave corrective move. And this would make it like that. Okay, let me continue in on the chat here. I lost my funded account with a dumb mistake, is what it is. Fat Sonic, I'm sorry to hear that, man. At least you learned a little, maybe you learned from it. So that's good that you got to see that. The best teachers is experience, right? And learning through experience. So don't give up. Just, mark it down, take note of it, and keep going, man. You can always open another funded account, or you can just practice and open an account with your own money. I have 3 times. Yeah, Fruit Miss, much love to you, man. Welcome in. Part of the game. Yeah, it's part of the game, guys. I have liquidated so many accounts when I first started trading. So not so many, a few accounts, right? Like you learn through the pain of the mistake, and you learn not to make that mistake again. Kodak, welcome in. Yes, your analysis is correct. 65K bottom. I still bet on the chop. Yes, 65K bottom. I think you mean 55K bottom. But because we're already below 65K, we hit 57. But yeah, Kodak, let's see. It's just one of the possibilities, right? We, as traders, we keep all the major scenarios in play. We do not get a bias that's so strong that we don't take into account different scenarios. So I also have the scenario, guys, where this is going to be some sort of larger flat correction where we come up to 67.6, at 67.5, and then we dump all the way down into the low 50s or even lower, right? And then we would be looking for pretty much some sort of A, B flat, and then a C down, another impulse down from here. We have to keep that in mind, There's many different high time frame scenarios we can be looking at. But for me, as a pitchfork trader, guys, pitchforks are my bread and butter. I have used this multi-cycle pitchfork on Binance to guide me through almost this entire bull market with very high swing trade probabilities, flipping this to support, rejecting here. I remember in 2024, while we were at $74,000, everyone was saying we're coming up to $100,000. I made a video here. You can go check. This is right when I started my channel. And at that same time, the total market cap was hitting the top of a bullish pitchfork. It was right in here. And I was taking profits on altcoins. I was taking profits on, actually it was this level here. Sorry guys. I took profits up here when everyone thought the bull market was going to continue. I took profits on altcoins, and then we fell all the way down to the bottom of the pitchfork. But I've used pitchforks with very high success over the past years, and specifically through this bull market. And you can see that our bearish pitchfork pulled from some important high time frame pivot points. We're at the bottom of our bearish pitchfork with daily bull divs and with potential weekly bull divs on the chart. Another thing, that's our bearish pitchfork. If we look at our multi-cycle bullish pitchfork, we're at the bottom of the pitchfork after rejecting at the all-time highs from the midline. We're at the bottom of the pitchfork. And remember, what I said was important for this pitchfork because it's such a high time frame pitchfork. It's going from the COVID lows of 2020 up to your 65K bull market highs, which as far as volume goes, that was the highs. As far as volume and money flow go, it was the highs. This was just a bit of the 69K high wasn't. And then down to your bear market lows. But I said on this pitchfork specifically, you will see wicks above and below on the weekly time frame. You can see as we came up into this pitchfork, you saw a little bit of a wick on the weekly time frame above it, but you did not close a candle body above it. You see a harsh rejection for a few weeks. Here, you come above it. You don't really see that candle close above it. You see a harsh rejection. Here, you come down, you hold it as support. You see a bit of a wick past it, but you close the candle body above it. You see a big pump. 2024 all-time high, you see a bit of a wick above it, but the candle body closes at it. You see a big dump. Same here. You know, so we see on these high time frames, you will see some wickage up below and above them. But the important thing is the weekly candle body close. And you can see right now, our weekly candle body is right at the base of the pitchfork. So we need this weekly candle to close green. We need it to close really above. Let's go zoom in onto like the 4-hour chart. We need it to close really above about $59,500, let's say. Okay, let me keep. We have a monthly naked point of control at 52K and 54K is the 1618 from whole 60K to 74K. Wait. Okay, I don't have a naked monthly point of control at 52K. If I go on the, let's just go to the weekly time frame, and if we look at naked monthly points of controls, the only naked monthly, unless I am, I don't know what exchange you're using. On Coinbase, we didn't. You can see we had a naked monthly point of control that I hit yesterday at that low at $59,000 or $57,900. That was hit. But you can see there's no naked monthly points of control underneath it. And our naked monthlies go all the way back to February of 2024. So at least on the Binance chart, there's no naked monthlies at 52. Let's go to the Coinbase chart, which is what I use the most. You can see this naked monthly that I've been waiting months to play out. We finally hit that and we're bouncing from that. We do not see a naked monthly at 52 on Coinbase either. This monthly, I think you're thinking of this one at 51,700, but it's been tapped already with this big dump. And then as far as another thing I want to talk about here real quick, guys, is the anchored VWAP. And we know how powerful anchored VWAPs are. So first of all, an anchored VWAP is like a volume-based trend support. If you bounce from an anchored VWAP in an uptrend, if you come down to the anchored VWAPs and you bounce from it, you would expect to continue the trend, meaning making new highs. So in this entire bull market, at the very beginning of the bull market, we tested the anchored VWAP, we held it as support, we continued the impulse to the upside. But this is the first time in years that we're coming down to our primary volume-based trend support. The anchored VWAP here, the strongest volume support level. If you want to continue an overall bullish cycle for the next remaining years of Bitcoin, you want to come down, you want to bounce from that target, and then you want to continue working your way up. Now, could you see a little bit of wickage past it and then like a reclaim? and a support and then a go, yes, you can. But generally, you don't want to start closing weekly candles below this anchored VWAP. And you can see each exchange has a little bit different of a price level for the anchored VWAP, but I tell you guys, Coinbase is the largest spot exchange and the largest economy in the world. To me, I've been backtesting and using Coinbase charts for 6-7 years. I think Coinbase has the most respected volume levels of any exchange. So the Coinbase chart, we hit it. If we look at the Binance chart, now this is Binance USD chart, we're still below it. You can see it hit a couple times, but we lost it and we're still below it. And we also need to watch for that at $68,400 as resistance. But the other major exchange everyone looks at is Binance, right? Because it's the largest volume exchange as far as total volume goes. Unfortunately, let's hope if you're a bull that the Binance anchored VWAP isn't going to be the one that bounces us, because that's all the way down at $42,500. And by the time, if we continue to break this down, by the time we get down there, it's pretty much going to be where our weekly is at $41,500 or around 42K, let's say 42K. Man, let's hope not, but there is a real possibility. It also makes sense as far as this multi-cycle pitchfork goes. If we see a small bounce here, reject, and then lose it, you would expect a quick flush to the downside. So yeah, we could, in the bearish scenario, we could flush down to 42K in the next coming months. All right. Yeah, Kara, thank you, man. Yeah, I was thinking of the impulse from here yesterday. And that's why yesterday on, let's see, was that Tuesday when we hit the naked monthly point of control? I believe that was on Tuesday. So when we hit the naked monthly point of control on Tuesday, it was Tuesday evening for me. I wanted to see an SFP and a reclaim. I got in at 58.2, which was pretty much the back test of the golden pocket. But the big level that I told you guys I was going to be adding at, and I told you that night when we were right up here, I said, now if we see a retrace, I want to see a retrace to that golden pocket, a 3-wave corrective move, and this is where I'm going to enter heavy, right? Because we finally got confirmation of a bullish break in market structure by taking out some lower highs. So this is really where majority of my position is entered from. And I was playing it cautiously, right? Because we've been in a major downtrend for the past weeks. So if you pull that range, I didn't want to reject from the POC, which was your 1-to-1 target, or I didn't want to reject from the value area high, which was your 1.236 target. So I was updating you guys and very cautious throughout the day on Wednesday, saying, let's hope that we don't reject from either one of these spots. Because if we do, it could be a 3-wave move and down, a 3-wave move and down. But we didn't. We were able to flip the POC. We were able to break the POC, flip it to support, and then break out and come take your range highs, which was another important market structure break, right? That's our second bullish market structure break. Actually, our third. We broke market structure here. We broke market structure in here. And then we broke the weekend high market structure here. So very, very important levels to break. And we're just continuing up in bullish market structure. And remember, the trend is your friend. We had high time frame confirmations that we could see a bigger bounce from this support level. And we are starting to. I mean, it's already almost a $4,000 bounce, right? It was a $4,400 bounce from the highs, and we're about 4,000 above the lows right now. So in my opinion, guys, that's a good trade. If you cannot make money off a $4,000 move to the upside, I would say you're doing something a little bit wrong. Okay. I want to just add to altcoins. Might be ready for this. Might be the low. Yeah, let's check Bitcoin dominance. That's a good thing to look at, Bitcoin dominance. And some of the altcoins are at some pretty good levels as well. Let's zoom out onto the daily time frame for Bitcoin dominance. Pretty much, guys. So we've been trading in this range since August. But let me zoom out to the 2-day time frame, because I'll go into the higher time frames for Bitcoin dominance pretty much for our entire bull cycle. You can see all the way back to March of 2023. We've been trending in Bitcoin dominance in this ascending channel, just chopping from high to low of the channel, right? In December, we saw a fake out of it. But in December of 2024, we saw a fake out of it. We got back in, came to the midline, held it as support, and then came to the top of the channel again. We held the midline for a few weeks, come to the top of the channel again. Now, held the midline again, you come up and you take liquidity of the highs. But for the first time in years, when we saw this break in July of 2025, so exactly a year ago, we were coming down to the bottom of the channel. We were chopping, but we saw a little three-wave corrective move in here, and then we lost it with volume in July of last year, meaning the altcoins were pumping against Bitcoin. So the key thing to look for is once you lose a multi-year trend to the upside, this was our multi-year long trend to the upside, you lose it, you often will bounce from a support level to bearishly backtest it. We bearishly backtested it, and then we've been chopping sideways ever since. And this is literally like a holding pattern for Bitcoin dominance against the altcoins. Like the altcoins just are not popping off like they did in prior bull markets. They never really did pop off this bull market like we wanted it to. But this range is also the important range to pay attention to. After losing the multi-year trend of the channel, we're just chopping sideways. But the big thing is with Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, we keep rejecting value area high, going to value area low, rejecting value area high, going to value area low, rejecting POC, going to value area low. We tried to break out of the volume profile. We didn't even take the internal liquidity, and then we fell back inside with a big impulse. Now, this is what's important. This last dump that we've seen on Bitcoin dominance from May 5th, so for about 2 months now. Look at this. It looks like a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and we're now in our 5th and final wave to the downside of an impulse to the downside, meaning that we need Bitcoin dominance to dump to make new local lows. So we should be expecting the altcoins to pump against Bitcoin. And if we look at this, this is on the 2-day time frame. So this next low could take another 2 weeks to play out. But it means that altcoins could pump against Bitcoin for the next couple of weeks, at least locally pump against Bitcoin. So now we can pay attention to this last structure because we know we're looking for a low below 57.94%. Let's zoom in onto the 4-hour time frame and let's analyze this. Like, do we see any sort of impulsive structure yet in here? And I would say maybe, if anything, I would say this is like a wave 1, a wave 2, and we're inside the wave 3. We're maybe creating some 1-2s in here, and we're inside the wave 3, and then we need a bigger 4 and then a 5. But I would say this is still probable to be an impulse to the downside. And we need to take out the lows at 57.94. The other thing is we're losing the value area low of the range. So this range we have been in since August. Yes, I understand we see fake outs above and below it, a little range below it, a little range below it, a bit of a deviation below it. Could this be another deviation below it where we get back inside and then we pump back up to POC? Yes, it could. But we want to see the rejection on the bearish backtest. So here, hold on, here we saw a rejection and an instant reclaim and then a bullish backtest, and that's why we came up higher. What we're seeing now is we're losing it, and we're coming up for the bearish backtest right now. If we reject this, then you would expect to continue down at least to take out this local low. So let's see. I mean, it looks like we're starting to reject from the bearish backtest of the value area low, which means that altcoins should be pumping against Bitcoin. A lot of the altcoins are starting to pop off. Let me go to ZEC, and I let you guys know about this earlier today in the Telegram. But ZEC is finally breaking out of this channel. We've been in this corrective choppy channel in here. Now, this could be counted as a 5-wave contracting diagonal as well. But you can see we're breaking out. We broke out of the channel. We hit the POC. We rejected. We back tested the channel. And now we're breaking up to value area high. So what we really want to see here, instead of a 3-wave move, we could dump all the way back down. We really want to see this go 1, 2, and we want to see this 3rd wave continuing. So we want to see a reversal relatively soon here on ZEC. We can actually zoom into the 1 hour and we can look at this structure here. Man, I would say this is the low here. You can see this would be a 3-wave corrective move. So a 1, 2, 1, 2, because there is overlap between the highs and the lows here. This is your 3rd wave in progress, and you would want this 3-wave corrective move to end soon. You would not want to see overlap. You'd want it to end relatively soon here and then start to go up again. We did front run the value area high, so it makes sense that we could see this in soon and then start to push up again. But long story short is we're seeing ZEC break out of this corrective channel with some high volume. Also, we laid this out in the live stream ahead of time, guys. It was our 0.5 target right at our naked weekly point of control, right at the midline of our channel. I laid this out to you guys at least a week before. It was Wednesday, June 24th is when I laid this out to you guys, and we hit it, a few days later. Another coin that was starting to pop off was Aerodrome. Starting to pop off. We bounced from the value area low. So it's the value area low of our upper range, but it's the bullish backtest of the value area high of our more regional range. You break out, you backtest, you go. By the way, I told you guys I was long on Aero and I was taking profit at the daily at this resistance. It just took a little bit longer, but at this resistance, I was looking to take profit. We hit it here, but we did not hit the daily. And there was also a naked monthly point of control. We rejected from the daily, just like I said. We should see a rejection there. And we were looking at a bigger, because this was a three-wave corrective move here, we were looking for an impulse here to take out these highs. And we got that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you had a contracting diagonal to end your fifth wave. Now we could be looking for, because that impulse is done, this impulse is done, and we could be looking, and we took the highs here, we could be looking for a three-wave corrective move, an A, B, C, to come down towards your golden pocket. So we could pull a golden pocket from the lows to the highs. Now, we need to make sure that we put on, let's see, is that more than 100% pump to the upside? We need to check to see. So that is an 89% pump. So not quite. So this golden pocket is correct. You could probably shift it to a log golden pocket if you wanted to, but let's stick with this one for now. So around 41 to 40 cents is a big area where we could see over the next couple of weeks an A, B, C to come down here to grab the liquidity of these range lows into your golden pocket and then see continuation. But pretty nice rejection from the value area high. The one thing I don't like is we did front run the golden pocket. Let me just make sure we front ran that golden pocket. So from the highs to the lows. Yes, we did front run the golden pocket. Yeshwant, much love to you. Thank you so much for tuning in from India. Okay. Bottoms or regional bottoms. I think altcoins can continue to get decimated over medium term 6 months. Yeah, if we continue the bear market, I think that the altcoins could be decimated as well. But let's see, the good altcoins are actually popping off, guys. The ones that have real use cases, the ones that are good. Actually, Solana, let me go to Solana real quick. Solana was popping off pretty aggressively here. And what I'm looking at in Solana is overall, now we have to remember this was a three-wave corrective move. So because this is a three-wave corrective move, it is far more likely that we're in a W there. This is an X, and we're looking for some sort of Y wave here, a three-wave corrective move. But within the Y wave, you're looking for an impulse correction impulse. And this impulse from here, we see a clear 1, 2, 3. Maybe we come back test the pitchfork 4, and then we come up to our POC in a 5. So right around $85, we could see a major reversal to the downside. Or, we're right now kind of rejecting the bearish backtest of the value area low. And this was our prior range. This was our prior range that we were in for 4 months that we lost. Around 4 months. Let's see here. That was from, yeah, that was 116 days, let's say. So around 4 months, right? But overall, we could be looking at a larger corrective move to backtest that prior range, either the value area low or the POC, before rolling over and coming down to make new lows. But Solana's popping, man. Solana's popping pretty good today. We're back inside of the bearish pitchfork. that is a good sign to me. If we close our weekly candle back inside the bearish pitchfork, we could see actually a continuation here, and we would have to look somehow to find a way to count this as a 5-wave move, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. You'd want to count some sort of impulse in here, followed by a 3-wave corrective move, followed by another impulse. Now, let's say that's the case. In this impulse we're in from now, from 63, 1, 2, 1, 2, because you have overlap between the highs and the lows here. So we would be in a double 1, 2 impulse. This clearly is your third wave, and then you'd be looking for some 4, 5s, 4, 5s to finish it. Either way, it looks like we need one more local high on Solana as well. Now, Solana is rejecting a very key anchored VWAP. Remember these volume levels, and it's for the anchored VWAP from 60K. And I know we chopped through it a lot in this range, but once you lose it with volume, if you backtest it and reject, you expect to continue the downtrend. So you really want to start getting closes, daily candle closes above this anchored VWAP at 82.5. Okay, Time Attack, much love to you, man. Welcome in. Thank you for being here, and thank you for modding for me. Mark Dutch, much love to you as well. Cooking pasta while lurking. Well, that's awesome, Mark. Let me know what kind of pasta is it. And I know you were cooking pasta a couple times ago, so you must be a pretty good pasta cook if you keep eating your own pasta, right? Okay, let me get back to the chat here. We have 90 days left before the lows come for 40K. Yeah, so time-wise, guys, the 4-year cycle has been right on, but you're right. There is no guarantee of a bottom in October. It could also bottom before October. It could bottom after October. It doesn't have to be, but as far as the cycle goes, it's been pretty accurate. So if something's been right in the past a lot, we generally tend to stick with it as a guidance, at least, until it's broken. Let's see here. Correct. Based on the past, we assume we will low October, but if Trump announces gold-backed treasuries, yeah, okay. TXRX, of course, man, thank you for being here. Jesus Save 77, much love to you, man. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support, and God bless you as well. Man, I appreciate that comment. I do try to teach it the best I can. I try to explain not only why it's doing it, I try to explain it in a way where you guys can learn it as well. I'm trying to build a community of awesome traders. So, and they all have different points of view, different perspectives, but we're all scraping money away from the market makers together. And that's honestly what I'm trying to build in that Telegram. So I appreciate you for being part of it, and I appreciate you for being part of the community. Christopher Mum, any opinion on the confirmed 2-day bull divs? Yeah, that's another thing. We are seeing some very nice high time frame bull divs, right? We saw the confirmed daily bull divs. We saw the confirmed 2-day bull divs. Let's go to the 2-day chart, right? You can see very nice 2-day between the $59,000 and the $57,000 lows. Bull divs. You can see on NAMI, bull divs confirmed. Money flow rising to the upside, about to cross into the green. Even actually, Christopher, if we look on the weekly chart, at least for Market Cipher, they're not confirmed yet because this momentum wave hasn't bottomed yet, but we could be seeing confirmed bull divs on the weekly. But I do want to give a level of caution to that, because even if you see a confirmed bull div, one drive of bull div, and your money flow is bearish, that bearish money flow will always, or not always, a majority of the time, overpower a single drive of bull divs. Plus, we do not have the bull divs on NAMI. It is a lower low here. So unfortunately, we don't have that ultimate prime confirmation that I look for. Now, on the weekly time frame, let's say that we do something like this where we come up to 67, grab liquidity, and then make another new low, maybe 52, 54, 56, or even 49K. And then we're seeing the bull divs here between Market Cipher. Let's say it's going to be something like this on Market Cipher, right? And then we're seeing on NAMI, because NAMI is going to be much quicker, multiple drives of bull div. And then we're seeing the money flow bull divs on NAMI as well. Man, that is when I will say, okay, we have the ultimate prime setup that I look for on NAMI and Market Cipher into the bear market blast off. So I will keep you guys updated if I see that. Obviously, it's not going to occur for quite some time because we would need now another new low some weeks away, right? To allow time for a bull div to print on NAMI. Yeah, thank you, TXRX. I appreciate the comment, man. One of the best macro TA. Well, thank you. Maybe it will happen 4th of July, 250 years USA, Jubilee debt forgiveness. Well, man, I wouldn't hold your breath on any debt forgiveness, Jubilee debt forgiveness, but let's see. No, welcome in, man. No worries about being late. We did have quite a nice beginning of the stream as far as explaining the macro time frames. So yeah, you might want to go back and listen to that, but it's there for you. Okay, alts are coiling up. BTC is going into the red zone. Wax about for alt pump. That is how it goes. Pullback. Yeah, and let's look at the total charts, right? This is the total. Which one is this? Total 3. So this excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this is really the altcoins, like all, not Bitcoin or Ethereum. Let's just make it simple. Not Bitcoin or Ethereum, but all the rest of them. Let me get rid of this little channel. This is no longer necessary. Now, it is a bit concerning that we've lost our major range value area low. We're back testing it today. So it's this whole upper range in here, this whole upper range. We really, really want to hold, or we really want to get back above the value area low. Okay. We lost our bullish pitchfork. We rejected from the top, came all the way to the bottom. We bounced from the bottom. By the way, this has been on my chart since we were here. And I was telling people to buy altcoins. I was not telling people, I was saying I was buying altcoins. Sorry, I'm not a financial advisor. I do not give financial advice, but I was saying that we could expect a major rally from here. Now, we're in this still small range of the last 4 months, right? But you can see we're starting to chop and lose the value area low. So depending on what happens here with altcoins, if this is just going to be a small corrective move here to backtest the value area low and we start to dump, unfortunately, guys, we could dump into some pretty aggressive territory. We would pull a volume profile of this range in here, and we could dump all the way. Well, it's not that far away, but your POC at 628.77 billion, or even dump down to the value area low, which is where we have some liquidity down here. So we could see a pretty aggressive dump. Honestly, right now for the total 3 market cap, we really need to start to close. It would be nice to close our daily candle today above this value area low, but what we really need is the weekly candle close to close above this value area low at 674.85 billion. If we can start to get a close above, once again, guys, this could be some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? A 5-wave move down, and now we're about to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another impulse to the upside. Even if this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we come up towards our golden pocket. So let's pull our golden pocket from the highs of our 4-month range to our lows of our 4-month long range. You can see that golden pocket is coming in right at the POC. So your next major resistance, if we get back inside the volume profile, this is your next major resistance. Now, first off, we have to get back inside of it. That's what we're fighting with today, right now. Another count we can look at inside of this 4-month long range is this impulse here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not the correct, or that is one possibility, right? It's over with. Now we see a 3-wave corrective move up to golden pocket, or we see an impulse up to take out the highs. But the big thing we need to watch for is there's an alternative count here where we see this is a 1, 2, 3, and then all of this is going to be a flat and a 4. A, B flat, C in a 4th wave, and then you get your 5 to end it. So, and that's, by the way, that's the same thing with Bitcoin as well. Let's go to Bitcoin. All of this, we've been looking at this count here, a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and then we finally finished our 5th and final wave to the downside here. Hold on, let me just clean this chart up. I want to hide some of this local stuff in here. So you can see on the from 83K or from 82.8, I've been looking at this impulse down. Those of you that have been on the channel with me over the past couple of months know that this has been on my chart for a couple months. And that's why I was expecting to finally hit that naked monthly, potentially to end our fifth wave. But we didn't know if this three-wave corrective move from 58 or 59 all the way up to 67 was an ended move and now an impulse down, right? Because if this was an ended move, we were looking for an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We now have a 5-wave move. We have a potentially completed move to the downside. But there is also an alternative count here. Remember, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Our wave 4 could be an extended corrective move where this wave 4 shifts over to here, and we're going to see a flat. We're going to see this still be a 1, 2, 3, but our wave 4 is going to be an A, B, C flat, where you take out 67.2 and then you make another new low. But either way, locally, we should be expecting a bounce in the coming weeks, or in the following weeks, I should say. We've already started that bounce. Either way, we should be expecting some sort of move to the upside. We have the bullish confirmations for that move to the upside. So, right now, I'm keeping the count with the fourth wave being done with. We finished our fifth wave, and now we could see an impulse all the way up to the golden pocket, right? So if we go from 82.8, the start of this larger time frame impulse, to the end, we could see a move up. And let me just make sure that's not more than a 30% dump, because if it's more than a 30% dump, we need to put that. It's exactly a 30% dump. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this fib and I'm going to put it based off log scale, and that'll give us our proper 61.8%. And you can see it's not that far. Watch this fib here, how it changes. 74, 72.9, 74, 72.9. So it changes it by $1,000, but I'm going to put it on the log scale because that is technically a 30% dump, which is where you want to start using that log scale. On more than a 100% pump to the upside, you want to put your fib on log scale, right? More than 100% move to the upside, you want to put your fib on log scale, and more than a 30% dump to the downside, you want to switch that fib to based off log scale in settings. Oh, I see I have a super chat here. Did I miss a super? Oh, here we go. Hi, Ryan. Great analysis. Well, first off, thank you for that. It would be great if you could mark your boxes of interest with a cheeky fib 0%, 100%. That will show the exact level on the price axis. Okay, I'm not sure. With a cheeky fib 0% to 100%. That will show the exact level on the price axis. So you're meaning like the boxes? Well, I do share my charts in the Telegram, and you can click on the box and then you can see the exact level. See 56,001 to 57,889. But also sometimes I pull these boxes really quickly during live streams like I did earlier today. And sometimes it's not exact on, like earlier today in this box, I had that I pulled from yesterday's live stream. Or yesterday's video, we were looking at a bounce right in here. I went from the lows to the highs, and we put on our wave 4 targets. Where are we at? Here. And the box that I had in here, if you go look at yesterday's video, I had pulled it, but I wasn't pulling it exactly perfect. And it's like sometimes it'll be like that, where it's a little bit off the exact level, right? But I can start trying to, let's see, I'm not sure what you mean by a fib, a 0 to 100% fib. You mean just like if I have a box here, I could do something like this, where I go from the low to the high of the box, just so you have those levels marked? Or let me know, Mildy, but thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really do appreciate that. And if I can do that, I absolutely will, because I want you guys to have that the precise levels. But also, if you guys go into my Telegram, I share my chart. You can come in on my chart and you can click the level. So you can come into the object tree here. Come into the object tree here, and you can scroll down to the naked monthly points of controls, and you can click on it and it will show you the exact level. 57,889.96, or pretty much $57,890, right? You can click the naked weeklies and see where those are. You can click the daily levels. You can see where the daily levels are. But yeah, I will do my best to try to get those boxes precise for you. And then also, if you ever have any questions in the Telegram, just shoot me a message, but make sure you at me, because if you don't at me, I might not see it. And then I can let you know those exact levels as well. Mark Dutch, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Sorry, I don't have money for super chats. Well, then, Mark, stop paying me super chats, man. AVAX for Marcus. Yes, I absolutely will do AVAX here. But let me scroll up real quick. I just want to read some of the chat real quick. All right, looks like a lot of conversation between people. Regarding cycles, BTC lows, December 30th, 2014. So, yeah, 1,400 days, 1,400 days, 1,400 days. Yep. It's been pretty spot on so far, the 4-year cycle. I'm teaching those Italians to cook some real pasta, and I never knew al dente meant to the dentist. Hey, man, I actually like al dente, Mark. That little bit of hardness in the noodles, but I like it both ways, man. I like it both ways. Al dentist. That's awesome. It sounds like that, man, Mark, I love pasta though. And honestly, don't say that, Mark. Divine Hood is my favorite financial advisor. No, I am your favorite YouTube trader, right? Crypto influencer. I'm not even, I hate that word. I hope I'm not an influencer. Yeah, I know, right? Where's the disclaimer when you need it? Let's see if we close today at 60,400. Really, like I said, the key close today, guys, for me personally, is going to be to close above this micro range this last week, above the value area high of this range, which is going to be at, 60,500, at least on Coinbase, about 60.5. Real quick here, guys, before I go into those altcoins, I do want to take a second to shout out the partners of the chat, of the channel, sorry. Main partner of the channel is BYDFI. They're a VPN and KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you do sign up using my affiliate link in the description, you'll get a minimum of 20% discounts on your trading fees, and you can actually earn up to 40% discounts on those trading fees. You do have to deposit some larger amounts to get the 40% discounts. They're offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses. So depending on the amount of volume you trade, you can earn up to $8,100. And that's not just Bitcoin, that's USDT, anything against USDT, the altcoins as well. So that's available. And in my opinion, that's a great incentive to trade on the exchange to earn that extra money just for trading that you were going to do anyways. They're offering some of the best initial deposit bonuses in the entire industry. A $100 deposit will get you a 50% deposit bonus, which is double what most exchanges will give you on a $100 deposit. They're giving you 20% deposit bonuses up to $1,000 deposit, and they're giving you 10% deposit bonuses up to a $20,000 deposit, which is double what most exchanges will do. I've also partnered with BYDFI to create that Telegram community where I keep you guys updated throughout the day, or when I'm not streaming or making videos, I try to post in there the trade setups that I'm looking at. I try to let you guys know if I'm taking a trade or if I'm taking profit on a trade. If you're interested in joining that Telegram, it's free. All you have to do is sign up with BYDFI using my affiliate link in the description and deposit a minimum deposit of $100 or more. You can deposit more if you want to get some of the bigger bonuses here, guys, but minimum deposit of $100. Once you've done that, you click the Telegram link in the description of the video, and in that Telegram verify channel, type in /verify and then your user ID for BYDFI, and that'll get you into the Telegram. Your user ID for BYDFI is probably going to be a string of letters and numbers for you guys, but /verify and your user ID, and it will get you in. I have a few other exchanges I'm partnered with. Blowfin is another non-KYC exchange offering VIP 1 for 30 days. You deposit $5, they'll give you a $10 voucher, and they have some pretty good initial deposit bonuses up to deposit $10,000. You can get a $1,000 futures bonus. MEXC and Bybit are my two KYC exchanges I'm partnered with. They're both offering some discounts and some deposit bonuses as well. And then lastly, I have NAMI Trading, which is this momentum and money flow indicator you see at the bottom of your screen here. And I use this for confirmations to enter and exit trades. For instance, guys, as we were coming down to that key naked monthly point of control and the anchored VWAP from the bear market lows. I told you guys I was looking for swing longs based off of the confirmations we were seeing. Intermediate time frame bull divs, local time frame bull divs, money flow bull divs on the daily time frame, finally hitting our box of support, looking for that swing long position to potentially come up to 67K. And since I've been using NAMI for confirmations to enter trades, it's gotten me into the trades that are more likely to play out. It's kept me out of the trades that are the bad trades that are less likely to play out, and it's increased my profit margin. If you're interested in signing up and using NAMI, the affiliate link is in the description to join their website. When you're checking out on the website, use discount code DIVINE50 and you can get 50% off NAMI. So discount code DIVINE50 there. All right, let's see here. We'll do AVAX here. If you have time, could you have a look at AVAX? Yes, Mark, absolutely. And Mark, please, you don't have to super chat for that. I do that anytime, man. Okay, let's go on to the weekly time frame. Man, unfortunately, AVAX is looking pretty bearish in my opinion, but like this is our overall kind of weekly range that we're looking at right in here. So we can pull that volume profile for that weekly range and we're below the value area low. So you can see this last range that we were in from February all the way until May, it broke to the downside. Unfortunately, that was at our value area low of our macro range that goes back to June of 2022. Now, we also broke our pitchfork down. Now, what we can do on this pitchfork was actually a nicely respected pitchfork, but since we broke it down, we can take this pitchfork and we can shift it to an original pitchfork. All right, that's a bit too steep, actually. Let's see, I don't want to use that. That's not going to work there, but we can actually pull a different pitchfork. So I'm going to hide this one. And what we're looking at as far as Elliott waves go, on the weekly time frame, this is a high time frame move to the downside, right? This looks impulsive, a impulsive move down, a three-wave corrective move up, and this looks impulsive down. So we could say, is this a 1, 2, 1, 2? And we would have to classify it as that because there's overlap between these lows and these highs. So we would have to classify this as kind of that channel-y structure, those 1, 2s that are building, and we're in the third wave to the downside. Now, we can pull a trend-based Fibonacci extinction from the highs to the lows to that second lower high, and we can look at the 1.618. Man, $4.20. I don't know if we're going to go down that low, to be honest with you. We can actually also do an alternative pull and just look at the primary 1, 2s. And yeah, so look at, you're ending your third wave, or you're around the 1.618 here. But the big thing is the weekly range, right? Volume profiles. Volume and liquidity are king. You can see when we were hovering around the value area low of the range, we formed a corrective sideways range, and then we impulsed down, breaking the value area low to the downside. So when you break a value of a high time frame volume support level, or like the value area low of a big range to the downside, what you're looking for is on a bounce, you're looking for a corrective move to backtest that value area low. And then if it fails, you expect another new low to be made, or you're looking at sometimes because the POC is so close to us, you'll come up to the POC. If you reject, you expect that kind of move down. But what we want to see here on AVAX is we want to start to see that accumulation, right? So maybe this is a tap 1 in here. We're going to see a tap 2. If we move up here and kind of come up to the POC, or maybe even take the liquidity, because that's a double top in there, very close to a double top. We have here at 10.55, and then this did not take the liquidity, but it's at 10.5 or 49. So we pretty much have a double top there. It would be really nice to take that liquidity, but we have to see if this impulse is done with. Because if this impulse to the downside is not done with, then we would expect new local lows. But we want to see some sort of accumulation develop here. So maybe a tap 1 here, a tap 2 here. If this impulse is done with, we would look for a move up towards the POC or up towards the liquidity of those range highs before potentially seeing a tap 3 come in and starting to develop that bottoming reversal range. So let's zoom in on the daily time frame, and what we really need to pay attention to is this move down from 1050 down to our current lows. Daily time frame. Okay. Well, I do see some sort of valid count in here for a potential 5-wave impulse, a wave 1 in here. This looks like it could be some sort of flat in here, running flat. Wave 2, you get your wave 3 here. This is your 3-wave corrective move in a 4, and then this is your last impulse down in a 5. So this could be it. Now, once again, just like on Bitcoin, there's an alternative count, right? This could be 1, 2, 3, and all of this could be a flat and a 4 before seeing one more low and a 5. But let's take from the lows here to the highs here. Let's put on our flat targets to see if we passed them. Because if we hit the 1.618, so you can see we hit the 1.382, and that's pretty much where your candle body ended at the 1.382. Let's throw on the 1.618 here. Where am I at? All right, let's just do this. Let's make that a 1.618, not a 31. 0.618. Okay. And that's where we ended. So in a expanded flat correction, an expanded flat, you will sometimes expand to the 1.618. So there is still a chance that this is going to be well, and actually you would have to even call that a WXY, because this here looks far more 3-wave corrective move. So you would have to say that's a W. You would also want to see a corrective move here, and this looks far more impulsive. Actually, this is very telling for me, because this looks corrective to the upside, and this looks impulsive to the downside. To me, the count of this being a flat and a 4 is far less likely than the impulse being done with being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now to me, this has a much higher probability of being done with. And then after that, you would expect this to start impulsing up. We want to break. The key we want to see on lower time frames, on the daily time frame, is we need to break above this high at $7.07. And it looks like we're trying to. We'll zoom in here. This is, God, AVAX is starting to get low liquidity. Look at all these wicks in here. I mean, AVAX used to be a really nice coin to trade. And honestly, this looks just disgusting to try to count as far as Elliott waves. But what I would pay attention to is this local sideways range, right? You have a nice sideways range here. You're coming up towards the value area high of the range. It would be better to break those range highs at $7.07. But the big thing we want to look at is now, because we have a possible finished count here and an impulse, we can pull a golden pocket from the high of the move to the low of the impulse, and we could put on our golden pocket. Now, that is probably more than a 30% dump. Yeah, it's a 45% dump, so we'll put this on log scale. And you can see the very important lower high golden pocket retrace is also at the back test of your multi-year value area low. So your most critical important resistance on the chart is this guy here. Now we can also look at this range that broke down. This was a 4-month long range that broke down. Let's see if our value area low is there. No, it's a little bit higher. Okay. Remember, you can also bounce up towards your 786 as well. So we'll throw the 786 on the chart, and that's going to be right on top of your POC. And because on the higher time frames, your value area low is so close to your POC, it's more of a zone. So this is the zone between $9.20 and then the value area low here. But within the zone, you have this zone. You know, this is like, I would actually almost play them as two separate things, but you do have a value area low in there. And we're probably going to have some, let's turn on some points of controls to see what kind of points of controls we have in here. You have a naked monthly at 920. Let's look at our naked weeklies. No naked weeklies up here. Naked dailies. Yeah, we have a couple naked dailies in there as well. Nope, not daily, naked daily. Okay. And then we have a naked daily pretty much right on top of your naked monthly. And we have a naked daily that's a couple of them in here, but those are in a big fair value gap on higher time frames. So like I would pay attention to them, but they're probably not going to be major rejection zones. But another naked daily you would want to pay attention to, and let me zoom in on the 1 hour, is the one that's just above us. So we have a naked daily right at the value area high, or in very close confluence with the value area high. And that naked daily at 694 with your value area high, we might keep chopping up in this sideways corrective looking chop until we get up to here. And that would be the area where we might see some sort of rejection and maybe a retrace into this thing. And then we also have this guy down here, which is going to be important to pay attention to as far as our local price action. Because remember, we want to analyze this range until we start to break it. So naked monthly here. Let me get rid of this. Is that the 1.618? Yeah, let's get rid of this for a second. So I know our first order of business is going to be that little micro 694 resistance above us, 694 down to like 691. And it's probably likely we get up there, but we are still fighting this POC. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Tried to get above, we're rejecting. You need to maintain bullish market structure here, even in this local uptrend. You want to maintain this bullish market structure. So you do not want to break this low, or more importantly, the low at 661. If you break 661, this could really roll over and come down to your value area low, which is where your naked daily point of control's at. And you have some liquidity that would be pushing right into that value area low. And that liquidity is of your local bullish trend, right? And remember, market structure is king. So if market structure breaks, that's when you can see a move down to 632. But we really would like to come up and hit the value area high in the naked daily, even potentially sweeping all of this. Look at this. This is beautiful to sweep. 1, 2, 3, 4 all together. If you can break this, you're going to sweep that aggressively, and you're probably going to sweep all right up to 750 or higher. And you would want to see on the daily candle close, your daily candle close above these highs, not an SFP of those highs, but above those highs. Because when, and by the way, that 753 is still important because that's your prior low. So when you break aggressively a prior low, sometimes you see a corrective move to backtest the prior low and then you continue down, or you see a move up to backtest the value area low and you continue down. Value area low is the more important one. But let's look at, yeah, I mean, first order business is we need to get up really to that value area low. And it's going to be around 831 to 847. That's going to be really important. 830 to 847. Sorry, see, that's where the box can be off a little bit. I need to take that box, throw that down there. And then let me go on to the Binance chart where we have more price history. And we can start to look at this range in here. You can see I have a couple daily levels. We have a daily level at 458 and a daily level at 447. And we have our large one-to-one correction. So that is for a weekly time frame corrective move. And what I mean by that is you can see clearly on the weekly time frame, this looks impulsive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-wave impulse on the weekly. And then you look for a 3-wave corrective move to finish, and then you could continue up. So on the weekly time frame, actually what we should be doing is pulling our pitchfork from the impulse, the first impulse down to the lows up to the highs. That is the pitchfork. And let me zoom in here and make sure I get that right on. So we got that high. Where's our low? Right here. And then we want to put it up to that high. And look at this pitchfork has been respected. You bounced from the mid. First off, you rejected. And by the way, look at this short right here. I was looking for that short, a swing short here. If you guys go and watch my videos from September 14th, 15th, but you rejected the lower band, came down to the midline, bounced from the midline, came up to the upper part, rejected, came down to the midline, bounced, rejection from the top. So this band, needless to say, this pitchwork's been highly respected. You were chopping around the midline. You can see the midline was holding multiple times. Held the midline. Yes, we had the giant wick. Now on Coinbase, you only dropped to 17, but you held the midline here, and then you lost it with volume, and then look at what happens. 3-wave corrective move over the last 4 months. You backtest it, and you impulse down. So this pitchwork is very, very highly respected, but look at where we're bottoming, guys. We rejected exactly almost, let me get rid of this. We rejected almost exactly to the dollar, to the penny from the pitchfork midline at the top at 859, 849, right? Or excuse me, 1049. And then we dropped to hit the lower band of the pitchfork. So this is the first time we're hitting the lower band of the pitchfork. That's actually super important because these first touches on the lower bands often will give you a reaction. Now on Market Cipher, you have no bull divs and money flow still looks aggressively in the red. But on NAMI, which is much quicker, we now have multiple drives. 1, 2, 3 drives. 1, 2, 3 drives of bull div, and money flow overall is starting to cross into the green. You can see it's crossing into the green here. So because of that, I would say you're very highly likely at least to see a decent bounce from this low to either backtest 750 or to backtest the value area low of your macro range. And we can pull that macro range on Binance. So we'll go from this high over, and that macro high on Binance is 824. I think on Coinbase, it is at 835. So it's a little bit higher on Coinbase, quite a bit higher, 11 cents higher. But either way, we're looking at backtesting this value area low in here. And now that we know that the move down from the rejection of the midline to the bounce of support at the band, this is more likely to be a completed impulse to the downside. So once again, you'll pull that Fibonacci golden pocket from the highs of the impulse to the lows of the impulse. And look at where your golden pocket's coming in at. So on Coinbase, it's in the middle of the golden pocket. On Binance, it's pretty much in perfect alignment with the 618 of the golden pocket. But either way, you're looking to come up. It's a zone, right? There's this guy right in here, which we have some naked dailies in there. And then the next big level is going to be your POC at 920 with your 786. Another thing we can look at, guys, is inside this move, we saw clear impulse down here. So if we get a 3-wave corrective move that takes some time and we're coming up to the golden pocket and the back test of the value area low, and your midline is also there, if you reject from the midline again, you would expect another tap, and you would probably expect to come down and hit these daily levels in confluence with the pitchfork band again. Let me bring this over. Okay. Now, if you see a quicker move to the upside, altcoins might see a pump against Bitcoin because remember, Bitcoin dominance is breaking that value area low down. We might see a quicker move, but if this is impulse, rejection, you bounce from the highs of this range or the value area high of this range, and then you come up and you hit the 786, that's going to be the POC of your other range. Either way, this zone and this zone are very strong resistances. We have to get above. If you want to be more macro time frame bullish on AVAX, we have to get above 830 to 846. And then if we get above that, we have to now then break our demon of 920. Our demon resistance of 920, which to me is a big one. 786 POC. You had a naked monthly POC in there, I believe it was. Yeah, honestly, that to me is the bigger resistance to break. But first you have to break this to even get to that. So If you break 920, you would be finding reacceptance back inside your 5-year long range. You would be finding reacceptance back within this range. And that's when you could see a big explosion up to your POC, which would also be around your upper pitchfork band. But it doesn't look like, so there's a couple ways to count this, right? You have your 1-2s in here. 1, 2, 1, 2. This is probably all part of your third wave in here. Now your third wave could be done and you see a retrace in a 4 up to 920, and then you get another 5, and then you're going to get another 4, and then you're going to get another 5, and you're going to chop between the midline and the pitchfork band for months. And that's going to be your ending. This is that selling exhaustion that occurs on high time frame. Same like the channel up here. You get that channel down here, and it's that selling exhaustion that occurs over quite some time. And it's probably going to be, because we have a double 1-2 impulse, it's probably going to be lower highs and lower lows. And it's probably going to be a model 1 accumulation where you get a tap 1 here, a tap 2 here, a tap 3 here, and then hopefully you reverse and start to explode up. But Mark, we will pay attention to this, okay? We'll pay attention to this over the coming months. And I do think AVAX is a solid, good project. That's the thing. AVAX does have use case. It's a solid project. But right now it's a little bit dead. And we have some levels to break above. So locally, remember, locally, we're still on in the daily time frame. We're still trying to break above this little itty-bitty micro range. And we have some resistance at 694 to 691. And then the liquidity as well. So we have to watch out for those liquidity grabs. And quite honestly, I don't like the way this looks for an impulse. This is way too choppy and gross looking for an impulse. So I would look for either taking out the range highs or taking out or rejecting and making a lower high at the value area high and the naked daily. That's probably also going to be your 886, which remember, in a sideways range, the 886 does reject you quite a bit. Yeah, your 886 is exactly on top of the value area high at 691. 691 to 694, guys, is definitely your next resistance. You did have some nice daily bull divs, though. Lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves. Your money flows curving to the upside. Multiple drives of bull div on NAMI. Money flows crossing into the green aggressively. So in my opinion, we are going to continue up. We're probably going to break above this POC. And the reason why I say that is because we've tested it 1 time now, 2 times now, and we're not really rejecting. If we can close above it today, that would be the best. But it might not happen till tomorrow, or it might not happen until next week or so. But closing above it would be nice. We need to kind of maintain this, once again, this local bullish market structure. So, Mark, I hope that helps a bit, man. Thank you so much for the super chat, Mark. I appreciate that. R Pink, much love to you. Welcome in, man. Thank you for being here, and thank you for modding for me. Okay. Okay. I think I'm way behind in the chat. Try lipstick and high-class perfume. Of course, Mark. Thank you so much for the super chat, dude. Okay. Don't date me. Don't trade me. All right. Orange Man made over $1 billion in crypto. Yeah, I saw that, dude. His family is raking in the dough on crypto. Like that. We know that there's insider corruption in trading, like especially with like Polymarket and all that stuff that he's doing. And, you know, I'm not very political either way, but whether it's the left or the right, they're all corrupt as far as money goes. And as far as, you know, Nancy Pelosi's making billions of dollars off, you know, she's a better trader than Ray Dalio and Warren Buffett, yet she never has time for anything. And then same with Trump's family, like they're making so much money. It's crazy. It is just, guys, it's not left versus the right. It's more of like a class thing. The rich versus the poor, and they always want to keep the same system going. They want to get the rich richer and keep the poor poor. So don't let that happen to you. Break out of it. You know, that's why we come here every day. We scrape money away from the market makers. We're trying to scrape money away from them. All right, let's see what we're seeing here. Bitcoin is So on the 15-minute chart on Bitcoin, that did look like a very nice three-wave corrective move here. This looked super nice, like a three-wave corrective move right down to that 0.5 Fibonacci. But because of what we're seeing now, we might be seeing a larger sideways WXY correction that takes some time. You don't want to lose the VWAP. Let's say that. Let's not lose the VWAP. You might see like a three-wave move in a W. You would need a three-wave move here in an X, and then now another three-wave move in a Y, where your Y wave takes out these lows, but you don't really want to start to lose in right now the VWAP. You want to bounce there and then make a new local high above 61,900. Okay, but let's see. We have some hidden bull div printing on the 15-minute. And I want to check. Let's check our order flow real quick. By the way, guys, I do have to leave in about 10 minutes here. So I'm sorry I have to cut the stream at 2 hours today, but I do have to cut that. All right. Wow. Look at this. Man, we saw some shorts coming in on the SFP, which is to be expected, right? An SFP, you see a bunch of shorts coming in. Let's throw a vertical line on that. All right, so right at the SFP of the highs, which is right there, we actually saw fresh longs coming in right at that high. That is crazy. Breakout, that's breakout traders, guys. They think you're going to break out of the range highs, and they long. So we literally saw long positions stepping in, and look at it was on an increase in open interest. So we saw fresh long positions coming in right at the highs. That is the best SFP you could look for. Grabbing liquidity, stopping out the shorts. At the same time, you have longs longing the exact top. And that's why you got this pretty a quick aggressive move down there. Now, those longs have closed out, or actually not really. Maybe some of them started to close in here, but you still have some of those longs open from those highs playing that breakout. But you saw a lot of shorts coming in after the SFP in this range. A lot of shorts are coming in, and they're primarily, it's a mixture of new positions and positions closing out, but actually this is quite bullish for Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin can maintain its local market structure, meaning not taking out the low that we just made earlier today at $61,023, then we could see a short squeeze, because all these shorts that we're shorting in this sideways range right here, we could see a short squeeze pushing up. Looks like some of those long positions were closing out. So the closing out of a long position is a market sell. That's why your CVD is going down here. But we know that it's longs closing out because your open interest is also dropping. So it means positions are closing. And if a position closes and your CVD is going down, it means long positions are closing. So we saw some of the longs that longed up here closing, but not all of them. But actually, this looks pretty nice for the bulls. And remember, as far as our Elliott wave count goes, we're still looking for overall, this being your wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and we're in a fifth and final wave to the upside. Within that fifth and final wave, we need a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need one more local high. Now that high could extend. The target is just to take out today's highs, but it could extend up to grab the liquidity up here. Let me see if we have, let's go on to the 1 hour and let's see if there's any naked dailies in that little range. In this little range. Nope, there's not. Do we have any other levels? Let's just come in here. This is where you can go into your folders. Do we have any naked monthlies? We don't have the naked monthly till 63.5. Naked weekly at 63.5. Weekly levels all the way up at 65. By the way, guys, that is by far the next big resistance. This up here is the next big resistance above. Well, let me just turn those boxes back on. We have this local support box. Where is that? That must be lower or higher. But this guy in here, yeah, so golden pocket is in there. That is also going to be your range point of control of the month-long range point of control, golden pocket. You also have the naked monthly point of control. You have the value area high. Now, if you wanted to, you could take this and shrink it a little bit. But I think, let me see if this is still on log scale. No, it's not. Actually, that's the proper one. So for me, this box, as I originally had it on stream, this is a better kind of from like 63.5 to 64K. Now you could extend it up a little bit higher if you wanted to, but, and then the next big box, obviously I already had it there, so let's get rid of that, is this guy in here. Value area high, pitchfork back test. You have a weekly level just above your liquidity, right? You have liquidity in here. And then you also have a naked weekly point of control up there at 65,693. And then you also have a naked, or your 786 Fibonacci as well. Let's add the 786 to that so you can see your 786. So two major zones to look at above us. The two major zones to look for potential reversals. 63.5 to 64K. And then your next zone is from about 65,250 to about 65.7. Of course, right away, we're at the resistance of our range highs and our anchored VWAP. Another anchored VWAP we can actually pull, we can pull two more important anchored VWAPs from our last kind of macro range highs, or our last range highs at 67. You can see we're there, right? That is also why we're finding resistance here. We have two anchored VWAPs converging. Anchored VWAPs from the prior lows of the range, anchored VWAPs from the highs of the range, and now we can pull an anchored VWAP from our new low. This anchored VWAP is going to be important to maintain above. And look at where it's coming in. It's pretty much going to be coming in at your value area high. It looks like we're starting to pump a little bit here. Yeah, here we go. Starting to pump a little bit. Remember, that was the value area low of our very micro range. Or maybe I pulled it to here. Yeah, value area low of your micro range, and it was your golden pocket 786 zone. Golden pocket 786 zone. So we laid this out during the live stream. You could have caught that as a scalp. Remember, I told you guys earlier in the stream, we could look at a scalp from here. Looks like it's starting to bounce a little bit. Let me check the chat. Thank you guys all so much for being here. I appreciate y'all. Crypto Clan World, much love to you, man. It's good to see you in here. Is the 63.5 is the 4-hour 200 EMA important support resistance level flip. Well, thank you for that confluence. So we also, guys, have EMA confluence there at 63.5. Yeah, thank you all the mods for all the hard work you do for keeping the chat safe and happy in a nice place. Thank you guys for being here. Honestly, guys, this week has been a great week for me, a great week of trading. Remember, if you want to get updates when I am not streaming or making videos, join the Telegram, guys. It's honestly a win-win for everyone. You guys get 20% discounts on your trading fees for joining BYDFI. You can earn up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on the volume you move. And you can get these futures, or your initial deposit bonuses. Also, you can get access to my Telegram where I give updates. I try to let you guys know the trade updates I'm taking. If I enter a trade, I let you guys know what I'm thinking on Bitcoin throughout the day. So that's a lot of positives for you guys. And all you have to do is deposit a minimum deposit of $100 into the BYDFI. That is not money you're paying to me or paying to BYDFI. That's your money. You're just depositing it on the exchange in hopes you will try out the exchange, like the exchange, and start using the exchange. But once you do that, remember to join the Telegram, join BYDFI using my link, deposit a minimum deposit of $100 or more. Once you've done that, you can click the Telegram link and you type in /verify in your user ID, and that'll get you into the Telegram. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you as always. And I will be live streaming tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, keep an eye on the Telegram. And guys, it's 4th of July weekend too. So I think tomorrow, even though technically the markets are open, I think it's going to be a slow day tomorrow. So, but we'll see. We'll see. And you know, maybe on 4th of July, we will see some fireworks in the price action. Thank you so much around town for the comment. I thought it was a good live stream today as well. Please hit the like button on the way out, guys. Please subscribe to the channel, share the videos, and I will see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Much love, guys.